All right, all right, all right. Hey, y'all. My voice isn't 100% back. It's been a minute. Listen, I went on vacation. I missed a video. I came back. I did a video. Got sick. Missed a video. So pardon my throat clearing. I have a cup of coffee right here with me. Just something warm for the throat. Listen, check it. Yeah, that feels good. All right, y'all. My apologies for being out. But here we go. Here we go. Me and my Miley Cyrus voice and all. We're going to break down some charts. We're going to look at DXY as always. And listen, we're doing this for the glory of God. We want to do something. We're going to leave a spiritual inheritance for our children. We will give them the gospel daily. And that is absolutely the number one thing we want to leave. But what else do we want to leave? We want to give them a head start in life. We want to give them some kind of inheritance, leave behind some kind of wealth. Because that is the biblical thing to do. And here at the King's Capital, we understand that, listen, all things belong to the Lord, right? All my money, that belongs to my King. It's not mine. So I want to be a good steward of that. I want to risk well where it's worth being risked. Try not to be a total degen like I was this last week. And make better choices coming into this week, knowing that my why is for the glory of God and for the sake of my family. So listen, let's trade well this week. Let's understand why we're doing what we're doing. I don't care about Lambos. I don't care about, the big flashy stuff. I know a lot of these people out here, they love their cars, and that's tight. That's cool. Listen, I want to feed my kids. I want to feed my great-grandkids. I want to leave something that says, for the glory of God, I did what I did in this life with excellence. And by doing that, gave some money to my great-grandchildren, built a legacy. All right, y'all. This is the King's Capital. This is DXY because, this is where we always start. So, listen, I think I said it in the last video. I mentioned it probably on my Instagram at the King's Capital. Go follow me there, please. I'll be posting just trades I'm taking, stuff I'm doing, funny memes because funny memes are dope. And so I've been talking about DXY for a while. We've been literally just in this range, moving sideways. There was a moment where I saw trade fluencers talk, oh, look at that expansion up, and then what do? We sold right back down. The point is, we have finally broken out of this range. I've been looking at this and calling it for 1, 2, 3, 4, now 5 weeks. It took a month and a week, y'all, for what I told you was going to happen, but it happened. And why did it happen? Because we finally kind of came up and tapped into this larger fair value gap. Now, I do think there's more upside for DXY. I would love to see more of this filled in. I've got a feeling, though, and this markup's been on here, this little whoop-de-doo, Nike swoosh, has been on here for a little bit of time. I kept moving it over each week. Anyways, I think we have a larger retrace coming. Why? Because we kind of had some dovish Fed stuff going on. We're not raising the interest rate. Yeah, the rate's high, but it's really a breather in that sense. They're not saying, hey, we're going to raise rates soon. I think the expectation of future Fed rate hikes is down another like 20% or something like that. So I don't think that's the expectation coming. So with that said, I think we have some time to kind of move down. We could retrace up this week before continuing down. Oftentimes there's not really much of a gap, actually. There's a little bit of one right here. Like, you could mark this out and go like, okay, price might retrace up to 105,360, maybe. And I have been paying attention. There are folks out there saying, okay, all right, we got our retrace for DXY and we're done. They don't see any reason. We're assuming bullishness on DXY, and so am I. Like, that's my assumption as well. But with such a strong bearish weekly candle, I don't think we should be expecting the bullishness any right away. I've seen some dudes out there saying, all right, we fulfilled, some kind of region in here. I don't really know. I guess we've kind of tapped into this. But look at, we got fair value gaps below this stuff. Like, if you're on the daily, there's reason to move down. There's reason to think we could move into discount. I would love to see us move into discount. We have mitigation blocks on the weekly, or a mitigation block on the weekly. At least that's, I believe, correct. Somebody out there that's more ICT schooled than I, right? This is a mitigation block. So tell me, Oh, or I guess no, I guess this is a breaker block, right? We're kind of in a downtrend, so it's this last. I guess since we were in a downtrend, that is a. I think that's a breaker block technically. I don't know, mitigation block, breaker block. Whatever. I'm not the ICT expert. I'm a fan. I'm a student. I'm a learner. But it's one of those things, right? So here we go. My expectation is that we will see further downside. I could see us retrace back up into this area where I previously had that order block, which I guess now that's probably the breaker block or something, right? So this is now my expectation. Something like this, some kind of retrace, and then further downside on the daily. Please, you're just gonna deal with a cough every once in a while, guys. Sorry. On the daily, yeah, like I said, fair value gap. We got reason to think we can move down. There's places up here that price was inefficient, and just below it, we do have this great order block right here at the 50% into discount, which also lines up with these breaker blocks. So my expectation is to see DXY as bullish, but understand that in the short term, we could see some bearish price action. What does that mean for my other charts? Well, let's look at this 4 hour too, because I saw other dudes saying, well, on the 4 hour, we fulfilled X, Y, and Z. I'm going to delete some stuff, y'all. My chart hygiene is smelling like BO right now. My chart hygiene is as proficient as a middle schooler's use of deodorant. It sucks. All right, check it. Now, I'm seeing others say, okay, look at this big order block we have here, blah, blah, blah. This could be considered a low. So I guess if you did pull a fib, if you did pull this fib, let me get this out of my way so I can do this properly, right? Then we've kind of fulfilled. All right, no, dude, I still don't like that. Listen, I know. Listen, they could be right. Whoever's talking, like we fulfilled some kind of low or something like that on DXY, they could be right. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm saying, as far as I could tell right now, I don't really think so. I don't. All right. Yeah, this is definitely a prominent low, but I mean we're kind of deep into that at this point. Yeah, I'm just not really loving the 4 hour on anything. I don't know. I'm not seeing what they're seeing. They could be right. I could be wrong. But here's what I'm seeing, y'all. Higher time frame, pulled from our low. There we go. Now, there could be an argument for something like this. Okay, I could see this as a pretty clean low. All right, let's do this. All right, we've retraced into the 50% right there. So maybe that's what they're seeing. They're just seeing it pulled from this low. I don't know. I'm taking the largest swing on the weekly, guys. You don't have to believe me, but that's my thought. But that said, let's take a look at Euro and see what we got. I've got a bunch of old stuff written up. I can hear my buddies now. What's up, Sniffles? What's up, Sniffles? This week on the King's Capital, new host, Sniffles. Check it. I've been looking for this to get tapped at some point. I think this is our draw and liquidity is up here. We took out these lows. We took out some liquidity down here, right? We had these lows right here spanning across here. So that liquidity got taken out. Once we did, we reacted. My problem was I was looking for it too early. And I'll get into that with SPY as well, because I was looking for buys or calls on SPY way too early, which led me to just some stupid degen trading. I don't know. You know, some weeks, guys, you're just dumb. Even listen, I made really good money off of SPY in October, and then I got in a drawdown because I don't know, guys, because it happens. So here's where we're at, guys. Understanding that we're bullish on DXY overall still. There's no reason to think we're bearish yet. We did grab this liquidity. I think, there's definitely a draw on liquidity lower when it comes to Euro USD on that monthly chart, the weekly as well. Like, I think there's a reason to think there's a lower low coming, but I think we've got ourselves a little bit of a relief rally right here. So when I look at the weekly, I'm looking up into this. We're going to call this the breaker block. That is what I'm looking to right now. Somewhere around this 50 to 61% on the fib. Now, what I like about that as well is that we have had, here's this breaker block, but we have had some pretty clean stuff going on here. We have a fair value gap right here, followed with this order block. It's very bearish. and pulled on a lower time frame or lower time frame fib, like that puts us at like the 786 and the 50%. So I think there's a cluster of confluences right there. Excuse me. That makes me think, yeah, we could probably be heading higher. So that's what I'm looking at for euro. Let me see if there's a trade, like a very specific kind of trade or setup I'm looking at coming into this. Yeah, we did reach into here. We did sweep that liquidity. There is some highs, some clean highs right here as well that I'm looking like this could get swept. So let me get rid of some old charts. Man, nothing wants to delete right now. If y'all had a good trading week, let me know. If you didn't, let me know. Leave a comment. Interact. Let's go. Let's build something. All right. Cool. All right. Those do not want to erase, guys. I am sorry. I don't know why. Anyways, did I tell you all I was sick? Yeah, I got sick. Fever, chills, and then it turned into this weird cold, losing my voice, whatever thing. Like, I don't know. It was probably the Wu flu or something. You know what I mean? Something like that. All right, so let's break down DXY on this 4 hour. Assuming bullishness for now. All right, we did kind of tap over that, reject a little bit. I think, again, there's probably a reason to think, depending, especially with DXY looking the way it is, I would expect a pullback into a long this week. This is not my advice. Listen, if you got a different idea, you trade you, okay? Homie, you do you. You do you. Let me take a drink of my coffee. Oh, man. Listen, I know some people like tea. I'm American. We drink. The coffee's here. Let's jump down. Let's jump down a couple time frames after we pulled that. Okay. Yeah, my first. Oh my goodness. What just happened? There we go. Let's bring that back. All right, guys. So here's my thought on euro. Oh my gosh. My apologies. I am a total degen right now, y'all. Degenerate. I can't even use a computer right the right way. Cool. Here we go. Let's see. This fair value gap. Yeah, this all kind of got filled in. I'd be surprised if we clear out the liquidity sitting under this low and then tap into this order block. That's absolutely a potential. Absolutely. We could come down to this 618 for sure. That's not where I'm going to look first, though. I am going to look first into this zone right here. At that 50%, we definitely have this range right here, so I would look for price to come down here and before moving up. I do like how this minus 27 extension lines up with this fair value gap. The 618 goes all the way up there to our bigger zone. Excuse me. Wow, this is just one of those. It's just one of those days, you guys. So I like this minus 27. It's right up into our fair value gap. Just above it, we do have that larger zone I had marked out on the weekly, and that's the 50% of that. So my instinct is first spot, I'm going to be looking for buys somewhere around this 50%. The 61.8 is possible. That would mean a sweep of this liquidity, and I kind of like that. I kind of like that. Let's go with that. If we see, once we get to the 50%, though, there's the thing. When we get into discount is when you have to start looking for price on lower time frames to start shifting. That's the trick. So we may not make it down to the 618. If we get to that 50% into this traffic right here, right into this zone, this could be our little order block right here. That could be it. So you have to, right. So you have to be mindful of that. You have to be on your toes. And if this, if we can shift down into here during London and we get a strong push up, then maybe that's where we look for a retrace, like some OTE during New York or something like that. It's certainly possible we come down to the 618. The first zone, though, is definitely the 50%. This order block, this is just very clean candles. I could see price kind of coming in and filling this before jumping off. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for Euro coming into this week, especially understanding that DXY is... Dang. I didn't take this trade, but I clearly had it marked up. Yo. listen, I don't really trade GBP USD, but you're gonna find, guys, you're gonna find that sometimes you mark charts up and they work out exactly how you think they're going to work out. You just weren't in it, and that's okay. That's all right. So what if you left a bunch of money on the table? You didn't take that trade, and now you're bitter because you didn't make that money. And all right, guys, check it. Let's go to the weekly on GBP USD. I think we got a similar situation. Yeah, check it. This 50% right here with this kind of order block thing right there, right? We're kind of looking at that. Jumping to the daily, we got this very clean. There's no real fair value gaps or anything in there. Not really. Maybe a tiny one right there, right? So it's hypothetically this is our order block right there. Right, this kind of just this zone right into 50%. So maybe we do kind of fill in that tiny fair value gap. But until we get there, I think we have shifted. So for the time being, let me delete this amazing idea I had that I wasn't in. I didn't trade. I didn't make that money. I missed it, guys. There's a ton of momentum on this, honestly. When I look at this, I go like, ah, man. Is it realistic for me to expect price to just kind of retrace all the way back down there and then rock it up? Like in a dream scenario, yes. Not necessarily though. Like honestly, when price has this much momentum, it doesn't always retrace. Like it often actually doesn't retrace this far. So you might need to see like price do something like this. Price will likely do something where it kind of just kicks around, comes down, doesn't hit our order block, right? And then what it does is it kind of shifts on that lower time frame, right? Here's that previous high before we broke low. Shifts, and then that's boom. That's where we find our buy. Now, coincidentally, we also kind of have this breaker block thing going on right here. So maybe we're looking at this, guys. Let's pull a fib. Let's see what that shows us. See if we got anything there. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I guess it's down to the 50%. So it's maybe it's something like that. If we pull from there, if we pull from here, ooh, I like that better. Listen, the Fibonacci, it's a little subjective, right? We may not make it up that high. We do on the higher time frame have this guy right here, but I'd be happy just to see something like that. Yeah. Yep, that'd be tight, y'all. Yeah. Cool. Maybe 1 hour. Okay, I'll pull this on the 1 hour. That's way better. All right, guys. Listen, here's what I'm looking at for GU. Maybe something like this. You know what I should do is I should go ahead and take a picture. Let's go ahead and do that. We're going to download. And then what we're going to do is we're going to post it on the Instagram at the King's Capital. Cool. Let's go ahead and set this guy up as well. Close that off. Sick. Yeah, this one's similar. I mean, we do have this. I could see us just on this breaker block right here doing something similar as GU, but it'd be nice if we kind of came into that 50%. Cool. You know, I don't want to see this fib for this picture, so we're going to take it off of the hours and the minutes. Don't really care. Don't care about this weekly order block. La-di-da. Visibility. Sick. Cool. All right, let's go ahead and we'll take a picture of this, and we'll go ahead and put that on the Instagram at the King's Capital. If I hadn't said it once, I'm going to say it again. The King's Capital. Go follow me. All right, guys. Tight. AUD USD. What do we got here? Honestly, it's probably just going to be something super simple. Man, a hot cup of coffee, guys, at 3:47 p.m. on a Sunday afternoon. That just hitting the spot, y'all. Cool. I am looking for a reason. Not really. Maybe a tiny fair value gap. I'm looking for a reason to think this thing has a stopping point somewhere in here. Yeah, I guess I have a daily order block there. Okay. This would be my first spot to look, right? So we got all this liquidity, right, that's being taken out right now. Wow. Wrong one. Right. All this liquidity right here. Okay? Stop losses, people selling off. This is some kind of accumulation pattern, by the way. Once you see price kind of jumping around like this, okay, we have like a final push, this sweep of, look at all these equal lows down here. Okay, guys, real quick lesson. Oh, there was something I wanted to show you on. Yeah, it was SPY. We're not there yet. Look at these equal lows. 1, 2, 3. And then we have, boom. We spike through and then we rock it, right? That's called a spring. It's more of a Wyckofian concept, but it's good to be mindful of it. Like, I'm not a Wyckoff genius. I've like studied it a little bit and just enough to understand it because it's very much related to ICT stuff, SMC. You'll learn, like, the more things strategies or theories you study, it's like, okay, we're all kind of like hovering over the same thing. We have different terms, and the like how granular we get varies, but this is clearly like a big spring and change of character, right? Something like that. My expectation would be that it looks like it wants to continue on. Like, I would like to see a pullback. I don't know where that pullback is going to come, but if we can pull back maybe into this breaker or even into this order block, that would be nice. My expectation with how much momentum there is in the market right now, thanks to NFP, is that we might just kind of continue on and might have to wait maybe partway through the week before we get those pullbacks we're looking for. So if we can, let's go ahead and expect one somewhere around this. I like this breaker over here a lot. I like that guy. I just think, again, with momentum, my expectation that we're going to come all the way back down is not particularly high. So if we were to pull a fib, let's just assume we're stopping around here. Let's get that 50% in. And maybe when we jump down to the 4 hour, we'll see something that's a little more clear. But, oop, I've got a baby crying. Yeah, so I do like that breaker idea only because we do have just some traffic right there. Yeah, it's traffic right here. That could lead me to think that we could get a pullback into there before continuing higher. We'll just have to see. Honestly, I'm a little unclear on AUD USD. What do we got? USD JPY. Okay, y'all. I think I was talking about this one forever because it's just trickling up, and we finally got some volatility. Right? This is like, I don't know. I'm sure somebody out there can trade that pretty well. Not me. Not my thing. And I'm sure this was like some big inducement for the bulls, only to be, whatever. I would like to see this low broken. Let's go ahead and mark that out, and let's put an alert on that. I would like to see this low broken. Oh my gosh. Guys, my stuff's not working. Alert's not working. Whatever. Anyways, all right. I would like to see this low broken, followed by a pullback into a zone somewhere here, especially understanding that DXY is, under some pressure at the moment. I don't know where that ends. It's going to end somewhere. I'm just saying that's what I would like to see. Let's go to the 4 hour real quick. Maybe it paints a different picture for us. The daily definitely looks to me as if we're kind of done. If you're a UJ expert, let me know. Maybe I'm wrong. That pullback would be amazing if we kind of filled in this liquidity void and popped up into that little tiny zone. But we'll see. But again, I would like to see these lows swept, followed by some kind of OTE retrace and some further downside. USD CAD. Now the dogs outside are barking. Those aren't my dogs. The big question is, guys, who let the dogs out? Who? Who let the dogs out, guys? Who did it? It wasn't me. It wasn't me. You know that song? It wasn't me. All right, tight. That's a pretty bearish candle, guys. And this to me just looks like we're building a range. I don't know. My expectation has been with oil prices being high, OPEC or whatever it is saying we're going to limit barrels. My expectations that the price of oil would be driven higher. Let me look at WTI real quick. WTI. All right. Maybe that's not the case. I'm looking at the weekly here, and it's like, that's also fizzling. That's weird. I don't know. Not getting a good read on this, okay? Let's go back to USD CAD. That is very bearish on the daily, though. Now, we're still in an uptrend, okay? So I'm not saying we are in a downtrend yet. High, low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So unless we're breaking this low right here at around 1.3570, so unless we're breaking that, we're assuming bull trend still. I just looked at WTI and it was kind of low, and we all know the Canadian dollar is tied to oil. Just trying to suss things out here a little bit. That definitely does not look strong to me, but we're just going to have to see what happens. That's definitely a bullish engulfing. Yeah, guys. So until we start breaking these lows right here, we're still in an uptrend. There is another option in which we could look at things like this and go, okay, well, this is also kind of like an accumulation pattern or something like that, right? Or some kind of consolidation. Like we could just be plunking around between here. I don't know. I don't have an immediate trade for you on this, honestly. I'm not feeling anything. I feel like I want to look for sells, but we're technically just not there yet, I don't think. Yeah, I don't really feel comfortable with anything on here. Like I said, still technically bullish, but I don't know. I got vibes. I got weird vibes. All right, guys, we're gonna check out one more chart. Then we'll look at we'll look at some crypto today. Crypto pop. Remember how I was saying it was like, I don't know. I would like to see lower prices, especially on some of those altcoins, and then, but I wouldn't hate to be a buyer, like, especially when you're looking at some of them that were like 4 cents, 3 cents, and you're like, well, I don't know if that's not a terrible place to buy, but I don't know, things have popped for the time being. We'll see where it goes. I don't think this is the long-term bull run yet, but could be some kind of inducement. It'd be interesting. I'm not really sure what's going on in the fundamental space. Yeah, I really don't know what's going on fundamentally with cryptocurrencies at the moment. Cool. All right, guys. SPY. All right, this is the when price came down into this zone, I was expecting buys all last week. Coincidentally, they didn't happen. It just kind of kept selling off. I think trying to think. I don't remember every single trade, but I literally was just a big loser. I was looking for buys. And then this week, buys came, and yeah, man, I sucked. I degened. I was trying a new model out, and I was like, oh, I'm going to counter trend trade this. Y'all, just go with the trend. Trend's your friend. Okay, so I was a total degen on SPY. But here's where we're at. Eventually, price did bounce off my zone. I had this marked out, guys. It's been in other videos. I'm certain of it, right? I've talked to my friends about it because we talk about it in chat. And I say, hey, we're kind of in this zone. I'm expecting it to turn around. Now, I didn't expect it to come all the way to the bottom of this zone. Like, that was not my expectation. But it did. I mean, we could maybe draw this out to like this. Maybe it was more like that. And maybe this is the more correct way, right? Because this actually makes more sense that we'd come down to the 50%. That's often what we're looking for on these order block zones, is like the 50% into it. But as to where this is going to end, I'm not certain where it is going to end. We do have reason to believe that we might be in some kind of larger channel. And if the dollar can retrace, and that kind of lines up with our monthly order block here, as it retraces, we kind of push up into this zone and then sell off. That would be a foreseeable idea, but I'm not certain. I do like this in terms of our this is our weekly. I guess that's a monthly order block. I'm going to put a weekly order block on this. It's a little cleaner on that weekly. No, stop that nonsense. Just because I like the way it comes into the bottom of this candle. Here we go. Maybe. Honestly, not loving that. Let's see where this week goes. Big picture, I'm not certain. I could see a sweep of this liquidity. I could see us rejecting. Let's bring this guy back, actually. Okay, so that could be interesting. Yeah, I do have this order block marked out here. Let's pull that all the way out. We have this fair value gap, or rather, oh no, that gap's been filled. Not really. Kind of. There's reason to think we could sweep this liquidity into this fair value gap by further downside, but there is a ton of momentum to the upside right now. So I'm not really interested in trying to sell this thing. I think if I was to be wise this week, I would be looking for buys. That is not financial advice. That is just what I'm looking to do, maybe, perhaps, possibly. There's that beautiful hot coffee. All right, I would delete that, but it's not going to let me delete it. Interesting, guys. There's just a ton of pressure, ton of buy pressure. I mean, look at these gaps, dude. Like all that stuff that was happening overnight. There were plays that would happen overnight, and you just couldn't get in because the price was just moving overnight in such a way that didn't really give you an opportunity unless you're just going to buy at market open, which is not my MO. I think there were a few opportunities. Excuse me, but yeah. So honestly, I don't know what the upside target is. I would like to see a sweep of this liquidity, though. Honestly, I think there are big stops above this. Whether we stop right here into this zone, I like that because we have a fib level, we got order blocks, we got gaps, we got all the things right there, right? And sometimes, this is what you have to understand, sometimes price will break down in order to continue in the given direction. So, for example, if we're bullish, right, we're creating higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. You'll get to a point where you're doing that, and then all of a sudden it breaks down and creates a lower low, sweeps a low, only to carry on higher, right? So it's building or engineering this liquidity that it then needs to grab in order to continue its momentum up. In this case, maybe what's happening is we got the high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. We sweep the liquidity, right? We break down that narrative just for a short period of time to sweep, grab the liquidity, come fulfill this order block, and carry on lower. That is completely possible. I don't know if that's what's going to happen, but something to be mindful of. I think in these conditions, I am going to be looking for buys, especially given my DXY narrative. Now, my trouble is they have not been correlating all that well. DXY has been moving sideways. SPY has been moving. So, it's not 100% guarantee, or it's not 100% correlation at the moment. But if I was to, guess where's price going next, I would guess up. This is a pretty solid bearish engulfing. It'd be nice if we came back down and filled in some stuff. We'll see what the market's going to do. Right now we're in post-market. It'll be interesting to see what pre-market does. Will I trade tomorrow? I don't know. It's Monday. Sometimes the market needs a day to figure itself out. Friday we have off, and yeah, so my expectation is just more upside for SPY. I'm not going to get into the granular of like what trade I'm going to take. I would like to talk about something though, and that is this model right here. Let me get rid of this guy. And this was the accumulation model I was trying to find earlier, right? When I didn't think the market was going to sell off absolutely to the bottom of my channel, but it did. And so I was trying to find that accumulation model here, but really it was here, right? And in hindsight, you could kind of see that now. This is definitely like a great market maker buy model, right? Followed by the spring, right? We're breaking up over those highs. Yeah, this is what a great accumulation pattern looks like, guys. So study this, get to know it. Where could you have gotten in on this? You probably wouldn't have gotten in here. Once price started breaking over this, I think the expectation would have been, well, you could have done two things. Like you could have like stopped by it above this high, right? Because we kind of had these clean highs right here. So you got the impression that, okay, if we break over that, there's room to run, especially with these candles over here. But there was rooms to get in on this. So why don't we break down a little bit and just see, okay, at market open, where could I have gotten in? Because I did not trade good the last week. I traded like a total degen. Work was busy too. Like I was sick. I don't know. I got all the excuses, guys. Okay, pity me, pity me, pity me. All right, so one option could have been, all right, here's our accumulation, manipulation, right? Manipulation. This whole thing is just a manipulation right here. We have this fair value gap right here. Hypothetically, like, oh, I guess I have this marked out, but we didn't reach it. That's okay. But you could have buy stopped above here. I've noticed that too. This is a, I think Mint calls it the ICI kind of model, right? Impulse correction, and you buy stop above, like inside, like inside the larger correction. There's like this little correction in here, and you could buy stop above that. That does not look like a chart I would have traded though. I'm looking for some clean price action, which I'm not really seeing here just yet. Boom. This is it. This is a clean chart right here. All right, guys. So accumulation, manipulation, and then distribution happens on this order block. Or if you follow my Instagram and you've seen my stuff, or you watch other videos, it's a simple 1, 2, 3. Like you have impulse, you have this correction into an order block right here, followed by an impulse. There's probably a fib on this as well. We could probably draw this, and it's probably around the 50% or something like that. Yeah, around the 50%. You could have put your order like right at the top of this order block with the stop below. My apologies, guys. Listen, I wanted to make this video. I know I'm still a little sick. I feel okay, but, you know, I'm sick, y'all. So what we're usually looking for, and what I'm usually thinking, is some kind of accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. One way or the other, right? So right here, during post and pre-market, we are kind of accumulating. I'm trying to see where, like, the accumulation... I'm not seeing it as clear on that chart, honestly. We could move down to the 5-minute, but I don't really want to get that granular on this. I'm just kind of going back and seeing like what trades could have been taken. And this is certainly like a order block area you could have taken. 1, 2, 3, and 2. Yeah, you could have taken buys there for sure. I mean, it was obvious that price was in the was moving up. But it didn't really quite pull back into anything. We could have just pulled back into here. Maybe on the 30-minute. This was just more of a solid-looking candle. What day was this? The 2nd? All right, let's go on the 30-minute, and let's go find ourselves the 2nd. That's the 27th. All right. Yeah. Okay. So, had you been on the 30-minute, you could have marked off this order block, and then... which I often do like the 30-minute, honestly. 30-minute, the 15, and the 5 kind of for entries. But, I mean, you simply could have just, we obviously had the impulse away. We broke over these highs, closed. We could have just looked for a pullback into that. Even on the 15-minute, that didn't look terrible. Again, this is kind of interesting. This is where I was like, you want to get in on some price action, but it just kind of is moving without you. Like, pre-market, price is already going. It's one of those things where once market is open, well, what do? There's not a whole lot of trades, really. Is it the 3rd? Let's go to the 5-minute on the 3rd. Let's see what that's like. Okay, if you're on the 5-minute, yeah, there you go. You got to trade. I think you would have had to wait. If you trade like me, you would have had to wait and be very patient for this trade to come to you. And here's why. Like, is that I know a lot of people, they just want to trade like right off the open, and some people, they're very good at that. That's not me. I really have to wait and see like what price is going to do. So this trade, you probably wouldn't have got into this until an hour after market open. But the 5 minutes not so bad on this actually. You got a pretty clean order block here. You got a fib level. This is probably a great fib level. Yeah. This is a banging trade, guys. Yeah, I didn't take this one, but very solid. Obviously, the price is moving in upward direction. You got some accumulation, some manipulation happening, and then we got distribution. So, right here's our distribution, right? So you could have played this. And now it would have played into after hours a bit, but if you were patient enough and waited for this minus 27, guys, that minus 27, just so freaking spot on. Look at that. Price tapped it and then moved away. Would have been close to the end of the market. I don't know. Maybe not a whole lot of you would have held that. But, yeah, that was a good one. Let's look at crypto real quick on the weekly. and we'll be done with this. And Lord willing, by next week, I will have my voice back. I won't sound like Miley Cyrus. That Miley Cyrus pug meme. If y'all have seen it, go check it out if you haven't seen it. But listen, this is impulsive. This is impulsive behavior, right? Impulse, correction, impulse. This is all corrective. This is all corrective. There is something to say. There's that. So here's something I do want to draw out though, right? Real quick. Remember how I showed you that model on SPY, that buy model? This is pretty much looking very similar to that one. Not exact, not every one is exactly the same, but it's looking pretty similar, honestly. This looks like a buy model. We kind of have this little consolidation followed by a. I just don't like how it didn't spring. You know what I mean? Like that other one on SPY. Like once it finally sweeps this liquidity, it just springs, right? But we're looking at a weekly, and the thing just tanked, moved sideways for 2 months, and then finally popped. I don't know. Nonetheless, this is still corrective to me. Like this looks very corrective. We've moved up into this fair value gap, and we do have this larger kind of area right here of traffic. So I'd be interested to see if we get a pullback from here or what's going to happen. I am not convinced we're in our bull market. If we can, I just see these lows as something very clean to sweep. I would love to see this as inducement to get people hyped. All right, it's bull season. And then something like an ETF or whatever it is, like I don't know what's going on with fundamentals. Maybe those haven't passed, but like everybody to get stoked on those. Maybe it gets passed and then boom, it sells off or something. That's what I would love to see. I want to see everybody get super hyped, thinking this is it. Tons of like retail money starts getting pumped into this thing. Only to have them dumped on. Like, I don't really want people to lose money like that, but you know how the emotions are. We got clean lows here to sweep, so it'd be nice. Man, let's get back down to 20K. That'd be tight. We did form a bit of a doji here, it looks like, this week. So we are at the 618 fair value gap. There's reason to think we could probably retrace from here. But again, who knows? We'll see. What's Casper looking? Oh, we're still in like the 3-cent zone. Guys, honestly. Okay, nice little pop from my zone, but I wouldn't hate to be a buyer here. ADA. I desperately just want ADA though at like, I don't know. We'll see if it happens. But it's been riding this zone, so it's just accumulating. So let's see. It's got a lot of zones to clear, but it looks like it's moving. So we'll see what comes of this. 35 cents, 0.342. Let's see what happens. Like this looks pretty strong though. We did kind of clear these candles right here. We do have this high way up here, but I kind of look at these body closures really more as something to be mindful of. We got this. So there's some liquidity to be taken if we want to take it. But we'll see where this goes. That's going to do it for me. All right. My voice is done. Again, looking at DXY on the weekly, I think there's reason to believe we continue down just for a little bit longer into that 102 down to 102.3. That's my thought on DXY, which leads me to think that we're probably looking for buys on Euro in the short term up into this zone, right? Again, here's our minus 20. I like how the 618 reaches all the way up into this breaker block or whatever this is right here. GBP looked pretty good too, up into this zone. So that's what I'm looking at as well. GBP, then maybe followed by some more downside, assuming DXY continues bullish strength after some relief, right? After we get this relief, there you go. And then SPY. Yeah, honestly, there's just so much momentum, guys, with SPY. I don't know where this thing's going to stop. If we were looking at a monthly chart, like low, high, higher, low, potential lower, high. We'll see. But I do have this large channel drawn out here. So we'll see what happens. We do have this monthly order block. If DXY just goes nuts, or I don't know, I guess they're not really correlating as close as I had kind of hoped they would. We'll see. But coming into this week, I'm definitely looking for opportunities to buy, especially given the fundamentals, understanding that the Fed does not sound like it's raising rates anytime soon. And they're already high, but I think we'd need to see. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but maybe we need to see more interest rate hikes or something in order to keep DXY marching on and to see more downside for indices. But all right, guys, that's it. King's Capital out. God bless y'all. Thank you all for listening if you listened. And if you found something educational in this video, please like, please subscribe, please follow me on Instagram at the King's Capital. And then leave a comment. Let me know what charts you're looking at, or if there's a chart you want me to break down. I'll include it in the next video. Until then, I'm just going to be updating during the day on my Instagram at the King's Capital. Peace.